Last video I talked about the head in general. Now we're going to start tearing it down by taking the valve springs and the valves out. And how you do that is you use a tool like this. This is a valve spring compressor. So you can get the valve keepers out and then pull the spring off. I'm going to do it as if this head was still on a car. So you would require one of these and something to put into the spark plug hole so you could have air compressed into the chamber so the valves don't fall into the chamber. If this was on your car, the first step would be to take the rocker arms off, and then with these being stationary like this because they'd be closed, you would stick then a little tool that screws into the spark plug hole, and then you'd run a compressed air line in, and compressed air would be holding these valves up so when you take this off, this doesn't fall. So let's start. There's your keepers. There's your valve spring and retainer. I'm unscrewing it so you can see how the system works. And installation would be in reverse of how I'm taking this off. Now I'm just going to go right down the line. As you can see now, all the valve springs are out. To keep the valve springs, the retainers, the keepers, and also the valves, I made this little cardboard cutout that labels like the engine, each cylinder. It says front, just like the front of the engine is up here. And they go in order. If you reuse them, you have to put them in the exact same place, otherwise failures could happen. So let's now pull the valves out. Here's an intake valve. We'll go with identifying what they look like later. Let's just pull them all out. Here's the exhaust valve. You can see they're all out. As you can see here, they're all laid out in the order that I took them out. So let's look at these individually. Here's intake valve number 1, cylinder number 1. It's full of its usual amount of crust. The shaft looks straight and true. The wear pattern looks, at least in my eyes, it looks okay. To be sure, it's better to check every measurement with micrometers and look in the service manual. As long as everything is within spec, it can go back in. Of course, the smaller of the two is the exhaust valve, and with it being an exhaust valve, of course, this one's going to be full of crud. Once again, the shaft looks straight and true. I am going to replace these valves in this head. However, I am going to clean these factory valves up and show how to do that and how to stick it back into the head if you are rebuilding these parts. Here is exhaust valve number 2, cylinder number 2. And it's all looks like it's in good shape. Here's intake valve number 2. Now this intake valve shows a lot about the previous owner's habits. A lot of cheap gasoline, as you can see. Here's intake valve number 3, cylinder number 3. See, this one has a lot less crud on it. Here's exhaust valve number 3, cylinder 3. Exhaust valve number 4, cylinder number 4. Apparently with all engines, every single valve is going to have crud on it. And finally, intake valve number 4, cylinder number 4. And that's about it. The next part will be showing how to finish up cleaning up this head and getting it ready to be sent to the machine shop. This is 84Hachi signing off.